Today, I'm lucky enough to have Catherine, the CEO of Two Men and a Truck. Catherine, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Now, crazy times at the moment. I've got a couple of questions I want to ask you that we've had from different agents and homeowners over the last week or so. But the first thing, you guys actually did start, let's do some background on the company. You guys actually did start as Two Men and a Truck in suburban Sydney, I believe. Is that right?
We did indeed.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad started it from our house when I was 8 years old, 10 years old. Yeah, so we started just with two men. He was probably the first man on the truck, and our next door neighbour's son was his second man on the truck. And last Christmas, I think we had 220 men and 86 trucks running in the peak season last year. So it's definitely grown beyond that, two men and a truck.
Okay, all right. You might need to look at the name change now, but I think it's cool. It's quite catchy. So how many you got? 86?
I know. Well, that's the only thing holds us back now.
So you're obviously across Australia with that many people. You're obviously Australia-wide now. Where do you service?
At the moment, we're just the East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're just the East Coast of Australia at the moment. So we've got Canberra, Melbourne, Sydney, and Gold Coast and Brisbane, with plans this year to go a bit more regional and the other sides as well. The only thing holding us back is just waiting for the borders to reopen and more staff to help service that. It's also hard to buy a truck. I purchased a truck in February, and I'll be lucky if I get it by November.
Wow. So, okay.
Waiting for new trucks is hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, also a fun fact I learned about you guys this morning was you hold a Guinness World Record.
Do we? Are you sure? I don't know. Do we?
From what I will edit this out if it's wrong.
But no idea, unless it's the Americans. I don't know.
Yeah, from what I believe, you guys have got the Guinness World Record for moving a big screen TV from a Sydney high-rise to a Balmain. Give yourself a plug.
I forgot about that. That was a mission effort. That was this biggest TV. I think it was in an Indian restaurant of all weird places, and we had to get it out, and we had to hire this scissor lift type thing to hold the weight of it because it was attached to a wall.
Right.
And so to hold the weight of it while we got it off the wall, and then the guys got it in the truck, and then we delivered it to someone's garage. And I don't know what it's been doing since then. It might still be sitting there probably.
Probably. Maybe. Okay, so you're a Guinness World Record holder.
There you go. Yeah, I forgot about that. It was a few years back now. Goodness.
Yeah, I will take the plug. All right. So I guess the first thing that, look, we won't dance around it. COVID, lockdown, restrictions, LGAs, people can't move. Are you guys still operating at the moment?
We are 100%. So even since the first lockdown last year, removals has always been considered an essential service, and we've continued moving. We just have had to adapt the way we do things just a little bit. So when you're in lockdown periods like now, the boys have to follow, their COVID safe plans, wear all the PPE, so their masks and potentially gloves when they're doing moves. So that can be a little bit restrictive sometimes, especially if they've got a house up 5 flights of stairs or something with their masks on. So a few maybe extra breaths, but otherwise it's been business as usual, and we've been very fortunate that we haven't had one incident of COVID transferred within our staff or with our clients since then.
Cool. So what does that mean for those 8 LGAs that are currently in really tight lockdowns? Are you guys still able to operate?
Look, at the moment, yeah, so we're allowed to enter and we can do moves in there. At the beginning, when it first happened, we locked it down for that not to go in there. But since then, knowing that the people in those areas need our services, there's people suffering domestic violence, all that sort of stuff, and they need to get out, that we're still working. We're just asking those clients to get a COVID test before we turn up on site, and to also wear their PPE while we're on site. And then we're just getting our boys to do 3-day testing instead of the 7-day mandatory testing, just to ensure. So we are continuing to go into those areas.
Okay, beautiful. So does that, I hear with builders and tradies, so one of the questions I've got for you is what can owners be doing now to prepare for a move? We were talking earlier before we started shooting this about hairdressers and the rush when this is all over. And we spoke to a person building inspector last week, and they were giving us a couple of little tips and tricks and things like that to get ready, just to make it easier, I suppose. So you obviously mentioned the COVID testing before and the PPE gear. What else can an owner do to make it easier at the moment for the removalists to come in?
Look, I think for the removalists, like, it depends if you want them. At the moment, we're asking, like, even, you know, restricted to one person in the household being on site, have everyone else out. So then you only have to get one person tested. The more they do themselves, if they, you know, dismantle furniture and want to do all that little bit, it makes the move faster, and then the boys are around less time. But otherwise, you know, there's nothing. We can still offer our packing services to help them pre-pack and unpack, and the whole, you know, we can do the whole full suite of removal work for them. Nothing really has to change too much.
Okay.
So they don't need to panic about that.
All right.
I think the only thing is that, no, we're going into when it was in peak season for moving, so it's quite a seasonal thing. So November, December, January, we tend to do double the amount of moves, and with the lockdown happening just right now, it's probably going to mean there's going to be slightly higher demand. So I would suggest that they start thinking about that now, and doing their research about companies and looking at getting quotes now and booking it in, so they're not stuck scrambling at the end to try and book anyone that's available to do their move.
Okay, so great points. One of the questions I had, how do you do the quotes at the moment? So do you...
Well, yeah, so last year, funnily enough, when COVID happened, we always go to people's houses. That's how we always did it. We had to change that model now, and we've kept it. We haven't changed back now because he's doing everything by video. So basically, we schedule a call with you at an appointment time. We call you. We get on a video chat. He does everything via video and then sends you out the quote. And the best thing about that is now he's gone from doing 6 on quotes a day. He can do 10 a day. So we can do more people a day, and and no one's going into each other's homes. So
okay, beautiful. So I spoke, Catherine, I spoke to an agent last night who's got a couple of vendors who are waiting for lockdown to be over to bring their property to the market because they just think it's all too hard. But it's actually not, is it? You guys can still perform at capacity. And for the people that have got settlements that are coming up that sold and exchanged prior to this lockdown, I have heard that people are starting to fear and starting to get nervous. I moved myself a year ago, and I literally just moved kind of down the road a kilometre and a half, and I thought I could do it because I threw all my furniture out, a new place, knew everything, and I thought, I didn't realise how much stuff I had. And like I said to you the other day, I'm on the top floor, and removalists couldn't come up to bring the fridge or something up. What's the benefit with a company like yours versus trying to move it themselves, I suppose, at the moment?
Oh, well, you might save money at the beginning, but then you've got to be paying for the chiropractor and whatever furniture you might damage while you're doing it. But for sure, I get that all the time on the phone. Oh, I did it myself last time and never again.
Yeah.
You know, you've got people that are coming in that know what they're doing to start with. So, you know, your furniture, how much is it going to cost you to replace that TV or that fridge? I had a guy ring me just yesterday. I took the phone call, and he got his bed head stuck in the stairwell, and he's put a hole in the wall, and he's like, oh, can you guys come out? I need you to just get the bed head up the stairs. So, you know, it is a specialized field. It isn't something that just everybody can do. There is some art and science to it to do it. You know, it's not fun.
No, and I mean, I didn't have massive stuff. Like I said, I threw a lot of the furniture out or had it collected and this, that, and the other. So it was basically like your kitchen stuff and your clothes and towel, like all the stuff. But I don't think you realise just how much stuff accumulates. And we didn't have the lift. And I'm on I think the 7th floor. We didn't have a lift for 6 weeks the week I moved in. And I thought, well, that's okay. I thought I didn't have that much, but I can tell you, even a garbage bag full of like the cleaning products and stuff like that, when you've walked up and down like the stairwell, let's call it, well, no, it is a stairwell, all day carrying boxes and stuff, by the end of the day, carrying a bag is very heavy. And by the time you're trying to clean, you're trying to move out of one place, get into another, it's never again for me, never again. It's for whatever it costs. It's just done, dusted. You're insured, I imagine. If there's any dramas or anything like that, it just takes that extra layer of stress.
And we have those after it's not afterpay now, but we've got Zip Open Pay. There's a few different options to defer the payments if they need to, if they're waiting for settlements and money to come through. So there's some options there as well for people. Okay.
So if someone does, I can hear your voice, but your face is just frozen there. Oh, there you go. So for someone that is looking to book and they get...
Yeah, you froze too. Now we're back.
Sweet. What is the turnaround time. So if I'm, what's today? Today's Monday. If I'm wanting to move out on the weekend here in Sydney, can that happen?
Yeah, look, it depends on the size of the move. So big house moves, maybe not so much, but definitely we've got we specialize, do lots of apartments, 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. Sometimes we book people on the same day. That happens a lot if their removalists have let them down or something's happened. There are some removalists that are affected by the lockdowns because they've got staff living in those areas that can't come out to work. We're lucky that all our staff are on the other side. So we haven't been too affected by that yet. So yeah, we can certainly do next day bookings after, and we try and help people as much as we can. So we also have storage options if people haven't got a place or they've got a dual settlement thing that's not working. We can put it into storage short term or long term.
Yep. Okay. So at least if someone, is thinking about doing something in the next couple of weeks, maybe putting some stuff in storage for the time
to declutter and stuff. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's one thing we've got our property stylists talking about at another time is the declutter. And yes, it's and agents will love you if you declutter. I can tell you that. Okay, so look, this is obviously in your blood. Like you said, your dad started this when you were 8. What, based on your feedback and experience, what are the biggest, I suppose, not problems that arise, but what are the common things that an owner, I suppose, should be aware of? Or anyone
everyone thinks the packing is easy and they can do it themselves, and then they're all scrambling at the last minute to do it. So yeah, packing a house takes weeks and weeks and weeks. It's not, you can start it a couple of days before. So if you're that kind of person, maybe consider getting a pre-packing service to help you, even at least with part of it. Okay. So it's done right. It doesn't matter if you're moving down the street or across the country, you still have to pack all your plates the same way. So definitely don't underestimate how much work packing is. Be prepared. Yeah, packing is the harder than the moving part often. It takes longer. And then always be like, all the clients seem to think that they tell you they've only got a small amount of stuff to move and that makes the job sound cheaper or whatever. It's going to cost you more. You're better off being really upfront, telling us every single thing there is to know. Then we send the right amount of guys, the right amount of trucks. You don't have that stress of the settlement. I'm not out by 12 o'clock and I have to be out and all that sort of stuff. So pay attention. If you're moving into apartment complexes, check rules with body corporate. Like some of them you turn up and they won't let you move in after 3 o'clock, or they've got to have our insurance documents and that sort of thing.
And the maps and that in the elevators and lifts and stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly. You might have lift curtains and lift keys and all that sort of stuff. Height clearances for trucks. So you might need a big truck, but we can only send small trucks. Yeah. All that sort of stuff. So the more information you guys can give us in terms of where we can park and how much furniture you've got, the easier and the quicker the job will be in the end for you.
Oh, cool. I think that's all I had. Perfect. I think the number one thing that I just, like I said to you the other day, as far as trying to give owners all the tools that we can and everything they can be doing, because I think the biggest thing is, and I like what you said about the pre-packing, I like what you said about it can take a couple of weeks to pack and move and booking in, especially if it's a house and things like that, because there are a lot of owners out there at the moment. I mean, spring is less than a month away now, and there is a lot that owners need to be aware of. And I think agents, we do a great job, and I'm an agent myself, we do a great job at selling our results, but not actually what's involved in getting a property ready for market. And there's a lot more prep work getting a property ready for market than there is actually selling the property. The selling the property is actually the easiest part, in my experience. It's getting it ready. And the decluttering, I've been in some shockers in my 17 years, and you walk in and you're like, oh my God, what are we going to do here?
We do that too. We walk into houses and they've just got plastic bags filled with stuff packed everywhere, and we're just like, what are you doing? Like, you can't, if we move a plastic bag, how do you pack 20 plastic bags on top of each other? Like, you can pack 20 boxes but not 20 plastic bags. So definitely.
And for people that are watching, like I said, we've got the stylist that's coming in later as well. It's great that you mentioned that you've got the storage facility. Can I ask, what are your durations? Can they be short-term rentals for storage, or do they fixed contracts? Or?
So we got people that are just doing a day or two because it's dual settlement. Like the settlement dates might not match.
Okay.
So we've got containers that can basically turn up, put everything into a shipping container, and then put it back on the truck. If people want to just declutter, we've got storage modules that we can just take out small amounts of stuff. So we charge by the day or to the month. You've got options, so it's really flexible.
Oh, beautiful. Look, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
No problems.